The Right Honorable Jacob Oulanyah, in the recent past, in my interaction with him, he was strict in the rules of procedure, on its applicability as far as when we are proceeding in Parliament. Finally, Right Honorable Speaker, I beg to submit, this country has been suffering on the issues of in the health sector. When I was Googling about the Seattle Hospital, it is about 28 years in its existence, and it is the best in the South Atlantic. I beg for 1 minute, half a minute.
Honorable Jane Avur.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, allow me on behalf of the people of Pakwach and on my own behalf to extend my condolences to His Excellency the President of Uganda, the people of Uganda, and the family of Right Honorable Jacob Oulanyah and the institution of Parliament. Right Honorable Speaker, I first met Right Honorable Jacob Oulanyah way back when we were in the university. We were together students of economics, and later on we joined Makerere Guild, the GRC, the Guild Representative Council, where Jacob served as the speaker. That was the first speaker I met in my life. I want to agree with that person, that member, who stated that Right Honorable Jacob Oulanyah worked his way through leadership. As a student then, I was the other side when we were campaigning. But because of the eloquency, because of the convincing level negotiation skills of Right Jacob Oulanyah, I was compelled to join the Mao camp. And later on became, I see Honorable Bino here, he was a member, he was a leader of the GRC as well. That aside, Right Honorable Speaker, Right Honorable Jacob Oulanyah was a leader who was so supportive. I joined this parliament in the 10th parliament about 1 year and 7 months later. The first time I walked to the Deputy Speaker's office, it was on a matter of national importance. I had studied how debate goes on in this house, and I admittedly asked the Right Honorable Speaker to guide me on the floor, and indeed he mentored me on how I should pray. Finally, Right Honorable Speaker, Right Honorable Jacob Oulanyah was not a person of a blame, game. I recall when we were celebrating or marking the anti-corruption week, Right Honorable Jacob Oulanyah asked all Ugandans to examine ourselves as to who is not corrupt. And that memory remains in my mind. If we are to leave the legacy of Right Honorable Jacob Oulanyah, let us all re-examine ourselves as leaders in this country so that we can leave a mark in this country, so that our people can get the right service delivery. And that is why he had asked us to debate on the Uganda we want. And I pray, Right Honorable Speaker, that that debate will one day take place in honor of the Right Jacob Oulanyah.
Thank you,
Right Jacob Oulanyah, go well, rest in peace.
Madam Speaker.
In the VIP gallery this afternoon, again, we have Honorable Kamateka Jova, a former MP. Jova, you're welcome. Honorable Bernard Atiku, you're most welcome. Honorable Margaret Babadiru. Honorable Babadiru, you're most welcome. Honorable Tete Chelengat, former Member of Parliament, you're most welcome. Honorable Mr. Poka Simon, the Deputy National Chairman, welcome. Thank you for joining us. Moma Milton. Hey, okay.
Madam Speaker, it was me.
Okay, Macho.
Madam Speaker, it is a sad moment. It's really a sad moment for our country, Uganda, and for my colleagues and the people of on behalf of the people of Busia municipality and Busia district at large, including our traditional leader, the Omwenengo, I would say we have lost a mentor. We have lost a political godfather. But Madam Speaker, in Samia setting, it is said when a godfather dies, he does not disappear, he turns into flowers. I see Jacob, he has turned into flowers of kindness, love, and joy. It is very sad that Uganda, by the time it wanted you, you have gone. Madam Speaker and my colleagues, when a good father turns into that, he becomes a messenger of the people he has left on earth to God. I'm happy that you are now seated with our Father in heaven. I request you to plead for Uganda for the high costs of commodities that are killing citizens of this country, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, at the same time, I request our beloved late Speaker, Jacob Oulanyah, that please forgive, since you are in the heaven, the principles of NUP who encouraged their people to demonstrate when you are at the hospital in Seattle. Forgive them so that they know that what they did is bad and they should never repeat it again. Madam Speaker, we believe that too much democracy has spoiled this country.
The order is for what?
And we should stop it as a culture.
Aisha, the order is for what?
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker. Is the honorable member in order?
When people are mourning, you don't, if somebody is mourning and said you have killed my person, you don't interrupt that person.
He's bad-mouthing my party. Is in order, Madam.
Continue.
Thank you, Madam Speaker.
May I raise the point of order, ma'am?
Madam Speaker, as I summarize, I would say that it is guilty always to people who have done it. And therefore, I pray that may the soul of my beloved brother rest into eternal peace. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. Honorable Samba.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable.
By the way, I don't like that heckling. Go and sit the other end. This parliament belongs to all of us. Tomorrow you will be in that position and you leave this parliament for other people who will come. So let's live like we only have today to live. Honorable Patrick Nsamba.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, condolences from Shigulu South Constituency.
I thought you had gone away. Okay, Muhammad and Patrick.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. Condolences from the people of Shigulu South
Ntai,
Constituency.
I know you want to talk. I'm coming to, you'll talk after them.
Right Honorable Speaker, condolences from the people of Shigulu South Constituency, Uganda District. Right Honorable Speaker.
Honorable members who are fasting, kindly, we've organized a dinner for you. And all the members, there is dinner for you, there is tea for you. Feel free to go to the canteen because we are sleeping here. Milton.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, condolences from the people of Shigulu South, Iganga. Right Honorable Speaker, in the book of Exodus, if you look and study the life of J.O., Right Honorable, we equate him to Prophet Moses, who had an assignment and a task to deliver the 11th Parliament to the Promised Land. Unfortunately, his life was cut short, and God has zeroed on you to be the Joshua to carry forward the 11th Parliament to the Promised Land. Right Honorable Speaker, as we pay condolences to him, Right Honorable Speaker, he has been a team player. For the 10 years I was in this Parliament, that is the 8th and 9th, I had never seen one sitting being chaired by two speakers. But because the team player, the day he was sworn in, there's a time one order paper was managed by two speakers. This is the culture that you are carrying on forward, and I salute him for that, I thank you for carrying that legacy forward. Right, Honourable Speaker, when we were invited the late to open the orientation workshop for the members who subscribe the Uganda Parliamentary Forum for Children, the Speaker tasked us to come up with a legislative agenda that will fight for the rights of children of Uganda. As we send him off, I want to appeal to colleagues to join hands to ensure that we identify gaps in the existing laws that will protect the children of Uganda. Right, Honourable Speaker, will rest in peace if we followed that trend. On his maiden trip to Kamuli, that was his... Right, Honourable Speaker, I pray for lenience on this one. His maiden visit to Busoga, he was on invitation for a memorial service of a former member of Parliament, Hajat Watongola Rehema. When he went there, he had the following to say: "You can never know that you've been sleeping until you wake up." That was a call to people and members from Busoga sub-region, that please get united, stop bickering, stop quarreling amongst yourselves. Unite and we move forward. But the commitment he made that any program that is geared towards development of Busoga, he will always support it as long as he's seated on that chair. It is unfortunate that he's no longer there. Right Honourable, we look upon you, we look at you for the programs that will push forward the Busoga sub-region. I thank you. May his soul rest in eternal peace.
I can comfortably play that will support all the programs that Right Honourable is handling. We will do that in the whole country. Honourable Samba.
Right Honourable Speaker, thank you so much for...
He's the chairman of Acholi Parliamentary Group here.
Thank you so much, Right Honourable Speaker, for the opportunity you've given me. Right Honourable Speaker, may the soul of our dear Speaker rest in peace. Honourable Jacob Oulanyah, when he won the first sitting here, he told us that he's not a vindictive person. And when he was talking to us here, he said that whoever supported him and those who never supported him, he was ready to work with them. He reminded me, Right Honourable Speaker, in 2016, when he stood for Deputy Speaker and you mobilized us to support Honourable Nsereko. I feared him most of the time. But when I went to his office, when I heard the matter of bringing the law on national local content, he welcomed me very well. And often I thought he's a man that will not listen to me. But when I brought the matter of local content, he said, no, we are going to pass this one because it is very, very important for the people of Uganda. And in fact, when we brought the motion here to asking for leave to bring a law on local content, Honourable Jacob Oulanyah, the Deputy Speaker then, never allowed debate. He said, this is a law the people of Uganda. Right Honourable Speaker, I recently, when he became Speaker, he told us to rework on those laws. And Right Honourable Speaker, I was waiting for him, thinking that when he comes back, we are going to work on that law and we finish it because it remained somewhere. Right Honourable Speaker, he was passionate about matters of local content, and I pray that the law of national local content is given opportunity in this House. Lastly, Madam Speaker, he requested us to have a debate on the Uganda we want. I'm just requesting, and I know, Right Honourable Speaker, you were around, and you know it. Give us opportunity after his burial. We debate the Uganda we want in memory of our Speaker.
Thank you, Honourable Basalirwa. Basalirwa, then I will have you.
Thank you very much, Right Honourable Speaker. Patron Speaker, on behalf of the people of Bugiri Municipality, on behalf of the Parliamentary Sports Club, on behalf of the Muslim Parliamentary Caucus, and on behalf of the Justice Forum Party, where I am whip, I extend my deepest condolences to you and the country upon the demise of Jacob, the Right Honorable, whom I have known since 1998. Right Honorable Speaker, in 2006, and I mentioned it here in the 10th Parliament, I, the late Jacob, and the late Bamwoze were together in the task force of the Honorable Agurawori when he was campaigning to be president. And when the body of the late Bamwoze was brought here, and the president was there and Jacob was seated there, I reminded him of our times during that time. Right Honorable Speaker, in one of the sessions that he chaired, I had a disagreement with him over the interpretation of our rules of procedure. After the House, he invited me to his office, and we disagreed on the interpretation. We disagreed. The following day, when he came on the floor, in his communication, he made reference to the fact that he had called me to his office. We had discussed and disagreed about the rules. And he directed the Rules Committee to consider bringing proposals to amend the rules to clarify on the issue of business that had expired with the previous Parliament. The Rules Committee has not. Speaker, that we do that for the good of Jacob because he wanted it. Finally, Right Honorable Speaker, the Parliamentary Sports Club will miss the Right Honorable Jacob. He was one of the goalkeepers. People have spoken about biking and the rest. Jacob was one of the goalkeepers, in fact, one of the pioneer goalkeepers of the Parliamentary Sports Club. And when he stood in the goal with this giant figure, with this towering figure, he would scare opponents. And those who played with him in the East African Games know it very well. So that is an aspect that I want to be captured. Those who are profiling the history of Jacob, to recall that he was a very good footballer, and particularly that he was a very good goalkeeper for the Parliamentary Sports Club. I thank you.
Thank you, President of JEMA. Clerk, we should have the report from rules in the next sitting.
Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker. On behalf of the people of Agago District, and on my own behalf, allow me convey her heartfelt condolences to you, Right Honorable Speaker, to the family and the country at large. Right Honorable Speaker, the person lying before us here, late Right Honorable Jacob Oulanyah, was a unifier. He was a peace-loving citizen. He was a mobilizer whose legacy I see in you. You're a great mobilizer and you're giving us hope. He was a unifier. Right Honorable Speaker, Northern Uganda, as I speak right now, we are united because of Right Honorable Jacob Oulanyah. Something which has never been there before. You find Langi, Acholi, West Nile on themselves. But right now, as I stand on this floor for Parliament, I must tell you that we are united because of his effort. Right Honorable Speaker, I call upon Ugandans as we mourn our late Right Honorable Speaker. Let's unite as a country. Let's love one another. He showed us love, unity. Let us unite as a country. Let us love one another. Right Honorable Jacob was a peacemaker. I remember he went to Juba for peace talk. Even those days, in the company of his fellow members of
Sentai. Javira, Sentai.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I bring condolences from me and from the people of Bukoto West Realm to you, Right Honorable Speaker, the President of the Republic of Uganda, and the entire country for the loss, for the demise of our Speaker, Right Honorable Jacob Oulanyah. Right Honorable Speaker, the late Right Honorable Jacob Oulanyah will be remembered in so many things. But amongst them, I'll mention one. I'm aware that in 2015, June, the late Right Honorable Jacob Oulanyah introduced and also promoted coffee growing as one of the cash crops in his region, in Omoro district and the Acholi region. He did so while being supported by the late Honorable Matthias Kasamba. It is so shocking that within a space of 1 year, we have lost two giants in as far as championing coffee is concerned. Right Honorable Speaker, today and in the most recent weeks, we have seen a debate saturating all over the country in who is caring about the coffee industry. Right Honorable Speaker, over the weekend, Right Honorable Speaker.
Semwanga.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. In the same way, allow me convey my condolences to the family of the late Jacobo Rokol Oulanyah, the Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, I want this House to remember the late for two things. One, he respected those under him, and it should be a lesson to learn. He was our boss as members of parliament, but whenever we could look for help, he would really respect us in all ways. Two, he used to balance us here. I remember one day I was seated in the last row, and I was traveling in the evening to the Albertine region with the Committee of Physical Infrastructure. On the order paper, I was at the bottom. I had an oral question. When I approached him, he gave me a chance to shine. Right Honorable Speaker, the late Right Honorable Jacob Oulanyah used to call us by names in a very soft way. That was a sign of welcoming us as members of parliament, and we felt so loved and welcomed in this house. May his soul rest in eternal peace.
Atuto Jacinta.
Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to eulogize with the gallant son of Uganda. I rise on behalf of the people of Kapelebyo and myself to pay tribute to the Right Honorable Speaker, Jacob Oulanyah. To me, what I learned from Jacob Oulanyah is that Honorable Jacob Oulanyah was a legal genius person who advocated for justice and fairness for all. He was also an icon for peace and unity in Uganda. I believe today we shall miss the oratory skills and the encyclopedia in Honorable Jacob. As we celebrate his life, members, of this noble statesman legacy, let's give God the glory for the life of Honorable Jacob Oulanyah, for so many good things that he did. Because today, most of you have attested to it, that he did so many good things. It was a wonderful time and experience having worked with him when I was a member at the Parliamentary Pension Scheme and as an MP today. I pray that the good Lord grants solace to the entire family and to the people of Uganda.
Honorable
Fare they
Hashim.
will. Honorable Jacob.
Honorable Hashim Sulaiman.
I thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, for the opportunity. Right Honorable Speaker and the colleagues, members of Parliament, on behalf of the people of Nebi Municipality and on my own behalf, I want to join my colleagues to sincerely condole with the HE, the President of the Republic of Uganda, the Parliament of Uganda, the people of Umoro, the children and the family of the Right Honorable Jacob Oulanyah, upon the loss of our Right Honorable Speaker, Honorable Jacob Oulanyah. Right Honorable Speaker, I came to know Right Honorable Jacob Oulanyah as a very humble person, down to earth, very accommodative, very approachable, and a great timekeeper. Right Honorable Speaker, I personally interacted a lot on several occasions with the late. Notably, I remember on the 10th, in the 10th Parliament, he went to my constituency. In fact, when he went there, he really impressed my people, especially excited them when he joined them during the traditional dance, our traditional dance called Agwara. He really went up to the extent of playing the drum himself to the excitement of our people. Right Honorable Speaker, as our Vice Chair of NRM in Northern Uganda, Right Honorable Speaker really outlined for us an elaborate developmental program to undertake in the next 5 years for our region, but that has come to pass now. Right Honorable Speaker, we know that God gives and takes as he wills. However, he has taken our Right Honorable Jacob Oulanyah too soon when we really needed him most. May the soul of our Right Honorable Speaker Jacob Oulanyah rest in eternal peace.
Model Isaac.
Right Honorable Speaker, members, I come from Bududa district constituency where the wife of late Oulanyah comes from. Colleagues, the Right Honorable Speaker, the late has made his record, he has left a legacy. We must agree that ever since he parted, we have observed rare issues or rare characteristics. There is sense of forgiveness, apologies, and at the same time, there is sense of hope. You may recall that at the time of his death, a few people who were not contented with some of issues made remarks. You recall very well that the Chief Justice made an apology. And from there on, we have seen some sense of apologizing, sense of togetherness, sense of appraisal that we need to be together. I come from an area where the wife of the late comes from. Unfortunately, both of them are not with us. He married from Engineer Nangware, who was a member of parliament. I recall on the function, he said he had come to Bududa to get a wife
who would stand with him. In fact, as we talk right now, they are watching us. I want to appeal to you that let's, as members of parliament, try to help that family. And Honorable Speaker, Right Honorable Speaker, let's not make emotional promises. When we make emotional promises that we shall help the family, and then tomorrow these children have nowhere to go, they would have.
Adome Frank.
Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker.
Adome Frank.
Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker. First of all, I want to start by appreciating all the members for the extreme smartness to pay tribute to our fallen hero. I stand here on behalf of the Karamoja sub-region to convey our sincere condolences. I want to assure you that we have lost someone that we all looked up to. Karamoja region believed so much in the late, and we pray that the leaders that are left will exhibit the same character by not only attending to the regions they come from, but to listen to the entire country. Because the late Honorable was a unifier, and he actually listened to problems from all over the country. So, with those few remarks, may his soul rest in peace. Thank you.
Jen.
Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker and my fellow colleagues, allow me to extend my sincerest condolence on behalf of my district I represent, that is Uganda district, and on behalf of myself for the demise loss of this gallant man of God. Right Honorable Speaker, very many things have been talked about, Right Honorable Oulanyah, and allow me to add my voice to my fellow colleagues that I have a lot of things to talk about Oulanyah, but I have one in my memories when I was having my maiden speech. Right Honorable Oulanyah mentioned my district I present, Uganda district, and I remember very well in his voice that he used to say like, Uganda district, Uganda district, and after I had submitted my point, he said, thank you very much, Jen. So I really remember, it comes to my memories, and I feel really this man had the whole parliament in his mind, and some of us, he knew even our names in a very few months that we were in this parliament. Right Honorable Speaker and my fellow colleagues, I realized that a few months that I joined parliament, Right Honorable Speaker had Uganda in his heart because he was a man that supported socioeconomic transformation, he liked development, unity, and effective representation. And I realized that those are the core principles that I put on the forefront every time I'm doing my leadership obligation. Sincerely speaking, we shall live to emulate the good thing that he has done for us, nurturing us, and also when he mentioned my name over the floor of parliament, he boosted my self-esteem and confidence as a woman. So I really thank him so much, and I pray that, but still, when you will remember that when Jesus died, he left us with the Holy Spirit. So let us always pray for our Right Honorable Speaker, really, and we know now that the power of the Holy Spirit.
Wakoli Godfrey. Honorable Ikojo Bosco.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker. For record purposes, I'm Wakoli Godfrey, and I do represent the people of Utilu County in Manafa District. On behalf of the people of Utilu and on my own behalf, allow me to extend my sincere condolences to the family, but also to you, Madam Speaker, and the country at large for the great loss of the great son of this country. For us, the young legislators, Madam Speaker, and also the youth of this country, in the death of the Right Honorable Speaker, the library has burnt down. and we shall greatly miss him. I remember the Right Honorable Jacob Oulanyah during the campaigns for the speakership race. It was our first time to interact with the Honorable Jacob Oulanyah. Some of us, we were not on the side of the Right Honorable Oulanyah, but after the election of the speaker, where he became the winner of that election, we had an issue as a committee on defense and internal affairs where we had visited Masaka city on a fact-finding mission about the pang welding men. But when we were trying to see our report being presented to this house, we moved as a committee to interact with him and ask him why our report was not seeing the light of the day. But I remember how he handled the issue. Of course, we knew that perhaps he had received the report, but what he told the members, that I'm going to handle your issue, only give me time. When I get the copy, I shall let you know. But on behalf of the people of Uti,
Honorable Kojo.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. In a special way, I want to thank you, Madam Speaker, for lifting our flag very high. On the behalf of the people of Bukedia, Madam Speaker, I want to join the rest of the country, and particularly this legislative house, in praising the life of the fallen Speaker of Parliament, the Right Honorable Dr. Oulanyah Jacob. Madam Speaker, we know Dr. Oulanyah as an icon of peace, as an icon of unity, and we also understand Honorable Oulanyah as a very good orator. He's a man who spoke. He's a man who spoke with a lot of honesty, a man who spoke with boldness, and I remember at one time, during the Anti-Corruption Week, the Right Honorable Speaker Oulanyah said, Mr. President, we are all corrupt. And he said that unless Africa makes a formal declaration, never again to corruption, the fight against the vice of corruption shall be in vain. Madam Speaker, the fallen hero, the Right Honorable Speaker Oulanyah, is not a vindictive person. He's a person who respected processes. I remember after the election of Speaker, he called me to his office and he said, JB, who put you to that office? Let's work for our people. He really had a love for this country. Madam Speaker, we have lost a brain. We have lost one of the lights.
Sanon. Bwire Sanon.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, I want to sincerely send my condolences to the family, to you, the Speaker, to the President, and to my fellow members of Parliament. Right Honorable Speaker, I am from a constituency called Oulanyah, and I am not from Acholi. I was surprised that I became one of the few friends to the late. But this was way back in 2010 when he was the patron of our Association of District Speakers in Uganda. He could come and try to mentor the District Speakers Association. And Right Honorable, I really want to appeal to the office of the Speaker of Parliament to continue doing this, because it was from there when he used to speak to us that you could really pick the courage to contest and also become a member of Parliament. Right Honorable Speaker, I chanced to be with him in Dubai, and the following morning, he was meant to present a paper and even us, the delegates he moved with. But he told us that we are going to speak to these people. We have to convince them that Uganda is more or less equal to Dubai. We are going to market our country and defend it. I really saw a man who is focused. And indeed, when he stood up to speak, he was comparing the
Honorable Olive Koyachenga Olive.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, for the opportunity. On my behalf and the behalf of the people of Hweju, allow me to convey my condolence to you, Madam Speaker, the President of the Republic of Uganda, the family of late Jacob Oulanyah, and the people of Uganda. Right Honorable Speaker, we are grieving because we have lost the leader, great leader, with a rare character. Right Honorable Speaker, I came in the middle of the term in the by-elections, and I remember we had an issue in my district of understaffing in health centers. I ran to the office of the Deputy Speaker, and I told him about my problem. To him, that was an emergency because women were dying while giving birth. And when I talked, he was like, this is an emergency. He called the line minister and told him to make sure that they work on the issue of Hweju. And that was among many factors that brought me back in this Parliament of Uganda. His humanity was exceptional. Right Honorable Speaker, I want to remember Honorable Jacob Oulanyah. It was one day he was seated in that chair and we were discussing on the issue of nodding disease in northern Uganda.
Honorable Babiko.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker and my colleagues. On my own behalf and on behalf of the people of Adjuman District, I convey my sincere condolences to the family, to you, Right Honorable Speaker, our head of state, and the whole country. Right Honorable Jacob was a man of intellectual authority. He had knowledge that everybody will wish to have. His presence showed hope and a smile. Very humble and jolly, forgiving heart. I want to thank the family that gave us late Right Honorable Speaker. Very patriotic, nationalistic, reliable. Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues, I want to say one thing. Our colleague who is lying before us helped us in terms of problems, in terms of health challenges, to be treated in and outside the country. In my culture, when an elder gets sick, you have to respect. Therefore, we needed to do the same to the Right Honorable Speaker. At this point, I want to thank the head of state, Right Honorable Speaker, and your team that ensured that our brother was free. I want to appreciate you. He did it. For members of parliament.
She's from APA, and the Right Honorable was the chairperson of APA conflict.
So he did it to us. If he did it to your colleague, know that he did it for you. So my appreciation to you and the head of state for having flown our dear brother for better management. Let's respect it. Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues, as people of Northern Uganda, our unifier is lying here. He tried his best, but the journey is not over. So the question is, how best can we finish this journey? My brother, may your soul rest in eternal peace. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jessica Vako, Emigu. I am coming to the ministers. Kindly bear with me. Avako.
Right, Honorable
Melsa.
Speaker. I thank you so much for the opportunity.
Thank you.
I am Avako Melissa Naimagule, woman MP Yumbe. On behalf of the people of Yumbe district and on my own behalf, I want to convey a sincere, heartfelt condolences to the Parliament of Uganda, to His Excellency the President of Uganda, to the family and the country at large. Right Honorable Speaker, it was fortunate enough to work closely with the Right Honorable Jacob Oulanyah. Whenever we met him, we were struck by both the force of his personality and the quality of his intellect. He was a father indeed. As many others have said, he will call us by names and he will identify with us. We have really felt we have lost a father. As he has said to Ugandans many times, we must never tire. We must not give up. We must persist. His legacy will stand as an example for all of us, to pursue our progress. May Almighty Allah reward him with the paradise. We shall miss him. Thank you.
Thank you, amigo.
Thank you.
Then Indiwalana. Margaret. Amigo Indiwalana Margaret.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker.
Amigo first.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, the people of Uchero County in Kabaramaido District speak a fairly similar dialect with that of Honorable Oulanyah, the late. In that case, for them, they treat the people, the Honorable Oulanyah, as their own. Actually, when they heard of his sickness and his eventual death, it pained them actually to their bone marrows. And I would like, on behalf of the people of Uchero and my own behalf, to commiserate with the Parliament, the immediate family of Honorable Oulanyah, and the whole of Acholi land. When I joined Makerere, I found the dust that was raised in Makerere was trying to settle down the Mao government, in which Honorable Oulanyah actually was the guild speaker. Oulanyah, I got to know him as suddenly I saw him. I didn't know the whole team. But the way he would talk, his oratory skills was so special of his own. Intelligence and all the attributes that people have been giving towards him were really so great. But Oulanyah was not braggant of any of them, just as simple and remained humble as most persons are really alluding to here. Honorable Speaker, after I finished my career and disappeared for about 7 years, I bumped into Honorable Oulanyah again. Is it over?
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker.
I bumped into Honorable Oulanyah in the UPC circles when I was trying to look for a political belonging. But things didn't work in the UPC. Then eventually I settled in FDC where I am today. In this 11th parliament, when I came and Honorable Oulanyah was elected as the Speaker of this parliament, I thought I was going to benefit from his guidance, his experience, and his intelligence. Unfortunately, death has betrayed us in this. Jacob, for the great things that you have done on earth, I want to pray that may it inspire us to emulate you. And I would like to ask God to have mercy upon you and upon your soul and to protect your family. Rest in peace, brother. Thank you.
Thank you, Ndiwalana.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. On behalf of the people of Commemorative North County, I wish to convey my condolence message to the people of the Republic of Uganda and the Member of Parliament at large. Right Honorable Speaker, the late used to respect the culture and the norms of this country. I therefore stand here to beg you to follow that trend, and you allow us as mourners to view the body of the Right Honorable Speaker before any proceedings again. Secondly, the people of Commemorative have been so inquisitive about the cause of the death of the late Right Honorable Speaker. Now that the Minister of Health gave us a well-elaborated medical report concerning the causes of the death of the Right Honorable Speaker, at least now we have the confidence of what we are going to say down there when we meet our people, because we have been carrying the luggage on our heads, thinking of what to explain to them. They have been asking us all the time what killed our speaker. I therefore thank the Right Honourable Minister, and I ask her to continue with that spirit, to go to the medias, and more especially CBS, which is well listened by the people of Commemorative, and continue to narrate the cause of the death.
Thank you so much. I had given Margaret, but I am also not sure whether Honorable Oulanyah is the only person who has died of recent. And I'm happy you're appreciating what the minister said. And I also know that you trust me. I viewed the body on behalf of Parliament. I did view the body yesterday and dressed him in the Parliament attire on your behalf. Margaret.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, for giving me the opportunity. On behalf of the people of Namayingo and on my own behalf, allow me extend our heartfelt condolences to the family of the late. Right Honorable Speaker, I am the woman MP Namayingo District, as well as Chairperson Uganda Parliamentary Forum for Children, where the late has been our patron. We've surely missed a man who has been our mentor, who had opened his door wide open when it comes to issues of children. Right Honorable Speaker, the late has been an advocate for children. He has been a lover of children. When you go there to consult on anything concerning children, he has been there for us. I remember vividly when we invited him as our patron to come when we were having an orientation of the new members of the 11th Parliament. We tried to tell him, we narrated all the challenges that children go through in this country. Because he's result-oriented, he challenged us and told us to stop adding another chapter of lamentation when it comes to issues of children, but rather open up a new chapter of acts of the 11th Parliament when it comes to issues of children. We shall remember him for that, and indeed, after challenging us, we have come up with a draft of the legislative agenda when it comes to issues of children. I want to request you, Right Honorable Speaker, that you open your door for us as a forum.
Honorable both of both.
Right Honorable Speaker, it is definitely hard for me and many of us to pay tribute and speak about Jacob Oulanyah. And allow me say that we did not only share the name Jacob, which he was very fond of, but we shared many things in common. His death to this Parliament is a great loss. His death to this country is unprecedented. The mysteries of death and life only known to God. But the vision that Right Honorable Oulanyah you had, I pray that as we may bury you on Friday, your visions may not be buried. As we bury your legs, the mission and destiny may not be buried. As we bury your head, the ideas you had will not be buried. You had a passion for the Ubuntu. You're a great speaker about the Ubuntu because you are a Muntu. You spoke for all of us. You accepted all of us. You inspired all of us. And that is one thing, Right Honorable Speaker. Speakers make great members of Parliament. And great members of Parliament also make a great speaker. I ask us, we should not compare the speaker we have and the speaker that is past. The challenge we shall have that will lead us into mourning. We need to support the speaker who is there as a different person. Oulanyah was a different brand. Nobody will ever be Oulanyah in this house. Don't even try to be him. Jacob, you knew me, I knew you. There are things that we can never talk about. You knew my home, I knew your home. You knew my children, I knew your children. The journey you are taking, none of us is missing. We are going to follow you suit. May God lead you.
Amen. Honorable Bueno, Minister Bueno, then Chairman Busoga Parliamentary Group. I am now going to parliamentary groups.
I thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker, for the opportunity. Honorable Speaker, allow me to convey my condolences to the family of our departed hero. Allow me to convey condolences to the House, to the other arms of government, and to the nation. Right Honorable Speaker, many people have spoken about our fallen brother. They've described him. All I can say is that our brother that is lying here now was a man of very many good attributes. And I concur and associate myself with all that has been said about him. I only want to request that, Right Honourable Speaker, you allow me to elaborate on just a few of his attributes. I'm among those few members of Parliament that served with our late friend in the Makerere University Guild Representative Council. I was a member of that students' parliament, and I was also a member of the executive led by Honorable Mao Norbert. And at the peak of our service, we had a bad incident on what is now known as the Black Monday. And on this day, I have very vivid memory of Right Honorable Jacob Oulanyah leaving his hall of residence, Mitchell, and moving up to the Freedom Square, very energetic, putting on his red gown, and then all of a sudden, things became dramatic and bullets started flying. I was a few meters away from him, and I saw him falling down. The lesson I want to pick from this is that much as he underwent through terrible pain, he was not vindictive. He did not carry grudges. And at the time of his demise, he was part of the movement, part of the NRM. We must emulate this as leaders, and may his soul rest in eternal peace.
Thank you. Chairman Busoga.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I want to thank you, Right Honorable, for giving me an opportunity to pay tribute to the fallen giant, the love of peace and reconciliation. Right Honorable Speaker, I came to know the late Jacob Oulanyah locally in 2011. I supported him to become a Deputy Speaker of Parliament. We served together. I didn't make it in the 10th Parliament. I came back. Here we are. The giant lying before us here had committed to reconcile the entire Parliament. In the entire messages that he used to give were full of reconciliation. Right Honorable Jacob Oulanyah was a friendly person. How I wish he was here today to see how members of Parliament are dressed. I would look at him, smile, the way we are dressed. Right Honorable Speaker, we shall miss Right Honorable Jacob Oulanyah. He was a very simple man, down to the earth. He would call me a brother. He was a person who would love to make sure that his work is accomplished. He loved delegation, one of the principles of management. Right Honorable Speaker,
you can add 1 minute since you're speaking now for Busoga.
Right Honorable Speaker, Right Honorable Jacob Oulanyah, the last appearance, public appearance, was in Busoga. And throughout his message, he called upon the people of Uganda and wished that everyone should be given a chance to breathe. And if I can quote him, he said, the people of Busoga and the people of Uganda, that welcome to breathing. It's very unfortunate that today, Jacob Oulanyah locally is not breathing. He wished everyone to breathe. That was the man. And today, he's not breathing, he's no longer breathing. We want to ask Allah
the giver, the sustainer of peace and love, always to remain with us. May his soul rest in peace.
Honorable Amos.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Amos. Amos, the minister. And then Vincent.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, for allowing me this opportunity to pay tribute to our great hero, the giant of Omoro County. I'm here to convey condolences from the people of Ntenjeru North, Kayunga, and from the Ministry of Finance over this big loss. I've been here over the last 11 years, and I've enjoyed that time with the late Jacob, who taught me a lot of things, especially on matters relating to budgeting in Parliament. In fact, much of the jargon I use here, I've learned from him over the 10 years when I was presiding over the Budget Committee for 8 years. Right Honorable Speaker, the last time I had a very close encounter with him, or a close association with him, was when he presided over the House to read this year's national budget. And indeed, that was his first budget he presided over when he was Speaker of this Parliament. I enjoyed the opportunity where he read the letter appointing me to read the national budget. I really enjoyed that opportunity. He did it. And indeed, I recall very well, that was the time when I had also just recovered from Nairobi Hospital, where I had been over the last 1.5 months, after being in Mulago for 2.5 months, you know. So I almost went through a similar experience, save for the fact that I did not come to lay in Parliament. So I learned a lot of things, that God remains a God. And this House should become a living example in respecting God. And I want to move right on, our Speaker, because a lot has already been said about the late. That many of us go to church every Sunday, and on certain other days, we go to mosques. But the one thing that we do not do in this country is recognize God by way of tithing to Him. As an institution of Parliament, and indeed the various MDAs of government, I'm proposing, in memory of the great Speaker, that we create in our chart of accounts a code where institutions should tithe for God. Because it's really God that gives and takes away. And you never know when this comes. When I was in Mulago for 2.5 months, I saw very big people dying. I was there also struggling for life. But I managed to survive. Others die. And nobody has control over this. Now, why wouldn't we recognize this great creator that has all the authority on all living and non-living things? So, Madam Speaker, at the right time, I want to move that as a House, we move that we create that chart of accounts where a country tithes to God. I've seen in countries like Malaysia, they actually include in their budgets provisions for taking care of religious institutions like mosques. They make that provision. Why don't we have such provisions? We have provisions for building schools. We have provisions for doing this and that. But we have no provision for rewarding God for keeping us alive. A lot has already been said, so I really take this as a great opportunity for me for having worked with the late Honorable Jacob Oulanyah, and so unfortunate that he opened an opportunity for me to read the budget, but I was the same person that moved a motion on a statutory revision for his burial. I think you can appreciate that God has his ways. He has his ways for all of us, and you can never know. That's why we really need to prepare ourselves well, and we need to respect God because he's a giver. May his soul rest in eternal peace.
Thank you so much, Vincent.
Thank you, right?
Vincent, Honorable Vincent.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, before I go further, allow me to make a small report to you and the members that I've just come back from Tanzania. We had the Sectoral Council of Defense Ministers for the East African Community. And I think in her wisdom, our Right Honorable Speaker arranged a photograph of our Speaker, Jacob Oulanyah, in the council, in the East African Council Hall. But what happened, Right Honorable Speaker, and I want to thank you very much, all the ministers and their delegations lined up to sign the condolence book. And it was not announced. Just everybody just, I think, saw the photo and we went there. And we had to line up to sign that book, meaning that all of you who have said that this man has lifted our flag up, I saw it myself, and it was very evident that everybody respected this man, not only here, but in the region at large. So I wanted to report to you and thank you for organizing such. And this man has given us a lot of pride. I want to condole with you, Right Honorable Speaker, and all the members who are here, and of course subscribe to what you have said about our brother. All of these values, all of these tenets you have mentioned here, they are right. But I want to say, Right Honorable Speaker, when we are leaders here, we have divided the loyalty because as the higher you go, the cooler it becomes, maybe. The more burden you carry. It is not easy for a speaker, for an MP who is, of course, a chairman of a committee, to be able to serve here, to be loyal to the post he has gained here, and also be loyal to the ground. But Honorable Jacob Oulanyah, when I was Minister of Agriculture, he took me to his constituents to establish coffee, but not only to Omoro, but to the region, the northern region. So he wished his people well. He wanted his people to be rich, to get rich. Again, a few years again, he came back, he said, no, you have land as Ministry of Agriculture, you have land in Omoro, we need this land, our people are poor, we need this land to construct the district quarters of Omoro. He did not mention anything, he did not organize a party for it, but we consulted the president and he allowed us to get this land to Omoro people. Nobody will ever know since he did not celebrate about it. But now I want to mention it, that all of these achievements, when you go to Omoro, the district quarters, you will see the land where it is, where the headquarters are, was a result of his efforts to get this land for his people. So I want to thank you, Right Honorable. I want to thank the President and your Right Honorable for what you did to try to save the life of our brother. But God decided as we see today. I want to condole with you all and wish our brother, may the good Lord rest his, let him rest in peace. Thank you very much, Right Honorable.
Thank you. Can I have Cecilia Gwal for Lango Parliamentary Group? Cecilia? We have a pending motion that we need to clarify. That's why we want Cecilia.
Right Honorable Speaker, I'm not a member of the executive of Lango Parliamentary Group, but I'm speaking as one of the members. Right Honorable Speaker, the short time you have given us is good enough, because if all the 500 of us say something, we would have summarized the life of Jacob. But the Jacob I know, or I knew, I will not speak about him in a session. We need some kind of a guiding note to guide us on who Jacob really was. One thing I know, I would just want to give you 3 words. I may speak in less than 2 minutes. One, Jacob never forgot his humble beginning. Whoever he was, he always remembered his humble beginning. He always spoke for the vulnerable, he always spoke for the poor, and he always did something for the rural poor. Secondly, Right Honorable Speaker, Jacob reminded me, always reminded me, about what our master teacher used to tell us, the late Milton Obote. If there are cadres of Obote, we are very few of us left. Honorable Ben Watcher is still around. The Katuntus had to learn from me because they didn't have time. They were too young. But Obote used to tell us that don't judge us by history. Judge us by the difference between realism and legalism. So if there are mistakes that were there, or if he was confronted with, he always want to make sure legalism guided his final decision. So, Right Honorable Speaker, I want to say Jacob Oulanyah has left a giant footprint in the politics of Uganda, and I would want Uganda to write it in their hearts. I know that the people of Lango, the people of Acholi, particularly the warriors, fought and died, and many of them had their homes torched, their granaries torched in order to protect the life of Kabaka, of Buganda, and Kabaka, and the Omukama of Bunyoro. That alone, together with the life of Ruot Awit, should bind us naturally. Nobody should talk in other language rather than uniting the people of Uganda, because while the Baganda were denouncing their king, the Langi were ready to die to protect the king of Uganda. So that spirit, I think, should be kept alive. And Oulanyah never forgot about it. And I'm very happy where we are going to bury is where Rurawich comes from, where Lokech comes from, and it is something which we must resurrect in our politics. And I want to say, my son, Jacob Oulanyah, you have made an impact in the politics of Uganda. And let us never forget, don't just recruit the cadres. Recruit the cadres, build them up and help them. Don't just use someone at the time the person is most needed. There are so many women who have come up in politics. The moment they lose the election, they are lost. And even Oulanyah, when he lost the election, he had to struggle on his own. And it so happened at that time, he lost his wife, lost his mother, he had no job, and that is that should have proved that they valued that particular cadre from the UPC. So I'm saying, in case you poach again from any other party, please look after them in hard times and in good times. May God bless you.
Thank you. Have you since dropped your motion? Because Dr. Cheng is here to respond to your motion. Yes.
Right Honorable Speaker, you know I'm a coward. The moment I hear people whistling, it means time is going or things should be done differently. Right Honorable Speaker, I had already introduced the topic or the motion. I move this motion under Rule 59, 1K and 61. Right Honorable Speaker, I want to thank the Vice President for this motion as seconded by the Prime Minister and the Leader of Government Business. It is good for us to talk about Oulanyah, but it's my wish and the wish of every one of us, the 529 of us, that this painful death should leave an impact. And Right Honorable Speaker, I move this motion that I amend the prayer of the motion to include that the government of Uganda, I will urge the government of Uganda to urgently acquire the positron emission thermography PET to facilitate the Uganda Cancer Institute in early detection and diagnosis of cancer. This is the prayer I would like to add to the prayer which has already been listed in the motion which the His High Excellency, the Vice President, moved. I beg to move, and the motion has been seconded by Honorable Sarah Pendi and Honorable Rosemary Mukongoro.
I'm not sure whether we reached that level of secondment. We did not reach the level of secondment, Matt. Can we first hear from the Minister? Because we may be talking about a machine that we have.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. And thank you for giving me a second opportunity. I appreciate my mother, Honorable Cecilia, who is always concerned about health, and indeed the entire House. Right Honorable Speaker, this financial year, Parliament appropriated 45 billion to procure a PET scan for the Uganda Cancer Institute, and the contract was signed yesterday. So we shall have a PET scan. In addition, this Parliament appropriated money to construct a nuclear medicine unit, which will not only have the PET scan, the linear accelerator, but also be able to offer other treatments, including the type that we are seeking for in Seattle. So allow me, on behalf of the Ministry of Health, to appreciate this Parliament and for the opportunity to provide the information. I thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Cecilia. You have heard, we had already given in money for the same. And what we would want to know is how long will it take for the machine to be operational?
Yeah, she has given me information. I want to respond. I want to thank you for the information you have given. However, Right Honorable Speaker, we have lived with this crisis for years. And it is strange to my ears and to this institution of Parliament to hear that the contract for the purchase of this very important equipment, which you only find in Aga Khan in Nairobi. The agreement was signed yesterday. So for me and the institution of parliament, we will insist that our prayer will remain in our resolution. And we'll have to give a timeline that the ministry and the government should assure us when will this machine be operational. But as far as we are concerned, our prayer remains, Right Honorable Speaker, and the motion is on the floor. The motion has been seconded, and I think we should...
Information, Madam Speaker.
I beg to move.
Madam Speaker, information.
Where is the information? Dr. Ayome?
Yes,
is
Madam.
the chairman of health.
Yes, Madam Speaker, I'm the chairman of the Health Committee. I just want to get clarity that treatment of cancer is beyond these wonderful machines we're talking about. We heard that there were issues to do with blood transfusion, where our departed Right Honorable was being transfused every day. This financial year, no money was appropriated for regional blood banks in Moroto and in Hoima. We have a shortfall of 150,000 units of blood. So the Minister of Finance, who is here, that can we please have the right money appropriated for the regional blood bank so that we can cover this shortfall? And the 109 ambulances we're asking for. These machines are just a tip in the
Can we
iceberg.
first resolve the issue of the PET? The PET is what, I thought you were giving us information about the PET machine.
Yes, Madam Speaker, the information I was adding, in addition to the information the Minister was giving, was that there are more things that we require besides the PET machine. The
We are in a
cytochrome
budgeting process. Please do budget for whatever is required. We need blood in all these regional hospitals.
We peeped into this policy statement, and some of these things were not budgeted for, Madam Speaker. Thank you.
Yes, Honorable Jacob.
Right Honorable Speaker, it's very painful to counter that, but in view of the information given that this is already a process ongoing, I am wondering how Mama wants us to proceed with that motion, and there should be no motion. That would be...
Actually, it is an amendment to the motion.
Yes, it's an amendment, but the procedure would be that I think Mama could modify on the time frame now that she knows that this is being procured. And the Minister of Health is here. I am just seeking her indulgence not to insist on a substantive motion to amend, but to help us process on the time frame so that our government can be urged to fast track.
Yes.
Yes.
I think we really need just to fast track on the process.
I think it's bringing an amendment to an amendment. In which case I can say, yes, we can insist that before in the immediate term, and let the government tell me how their interpretation of the immediate term. My interpretation of the immediate term would be 6 months. But let them tell me their interpretation of the immediate term. But I would wish that the equipment should be acquired and should arrive in this country to begin to assist us within the next
when you talk about acquiring the equipment, then you're now affecting Article 93. And since we are saying the equipment, the procurement process has started, what we need to tell the minister is to come and present to this house, say after 2 months, how far have they gone? In the next sitting, the minister should come and lay on table the agreement that they have signed with the other institution, it doesn't necessitate for us to include in the motion.
Right, Honorable Speaker, I think it is still important that we include it, that within 2 months the ministry or the minister should update us about the position
Honorable
of
Minister,
the
update us in 2 months' time on how far you have gone with the machine. It does not necessarily require an amendment of the motion.
Much obliged, Right Honorable.
Thank you. Kigezi. There are two. Kigezi Parliamentary Group.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I am Ndamira Catherine Atwachire, Woman MP Kabale District, representing Kigezi. Right Honorable Speaker, allow me to join the rest of Ugandans to mourn our gallant son, who is none other than Right Honorable Jacob Oulanyah the late. Right Honorable Speaker, it is so sad that we have lost him for sure. Right Honorable Speaker, Right Honorable Jacob Oulanyah was not from Kigezi, but if we were given the opportunity, we would take him up if he wasn't from a very prominent clan. Right Honorable Speaker, Jacob Oulanyah was as bold as Bachiga. I remember at one time I visited his office and I tried to imitate, you know, when a lady enters into a big office like that, I started looking down, up and what. Then Right Honorable Speaker then asked me, Catherine, I thought you are a Muchiga. Why can't you be bold enough? So for me, I stood firm and told him, Right Honorable Speaker, the women in Kabale who gives birth to premature children have lost them all because of lack of incubators. He laughed at
Honorable Hillary, Nick, Honorable Gwang Peter, Honorable Ngalo, Diana Mutasingwa.
Thank you.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker and honorable colleagues, I stand here with sadness to convey my sincere condolences from the people of Buyukwe and to all Ugandans and the family of the beloved Right Honorable Jacob Oulanyah. It is so unfortunate that I and some new honorable colleagues here in the August House never had enough opportunity to enjoy the short-lived tenure of the Right Honorable Oulanyah. But the few months I interacted with him, it was as if I had known him for a long time. He was very humorous and straightforward, approachable and honest character is what we shall miss. Right Honorable Speaker, allow me to thank His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Uganda, and yourself for doing your best to fight for the life of the Right Honorable Jacob Oulanyah by offering high-level treatment and care, but God overpowered us and took him away because he wants legible people like the Right Honorable Jacob Oulanyah for his special assignments. I call upon Uganda, and in particular, my fellow leaders, of different levels to emulate the good deeds of Right Honorable Jacob Oulanyah. It is the only reward we can give to him. To the family and relatives of the Right Honorable Jacob Oulanyah, please put all your trust in the Lord, because he's the giver of life. He gives and he takes. Please let us all keep his legacy alive.
Honorable Ogwa. Thank you, Honorable Minister.
Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues, on behalf of the people of Ngariam County, Katakwi District, I stand here to pay tribute to my friend, my boss, my brother, for the time I have been with him since the 9th Parliament. Right Honorable Speaker, most of us have given good messages about the late. I only want to remind the following attributes of the late who is lying before us. Madam Speaker, the late was a God-fearing person. For the time I came to know Jacob, like you've all said, the late was a good speaker. The late was a good timekeeper. The late loved his culture. The late was a peacemaker. The late was corrupt-free. The late was a honest person. The late was a hard worker. The late was a dependable and reliable friend. Madam Speaker, the late loved details, and this is where, Madam Speaker, I want to request for your indulgence and time. Madam Speaker, the time I spent closely with the late, one thing he liked most, it began with his dress code. All of us and all of you here can bear that and attest to that. The dress code was matched with the brain. The late was an intelligent person. Whether you gave him a speech now, he could read it and he could be able to come and internalize and explain to the audience which he was going to speak. Madam Speaker, that is the person who is lying before us here. Madam Speaker, I also want to put this on record. We had tough times in the 10th Parliament. If I don't say this here, then I'll not be honest to my friend who is lying before me here. As members of the Parliamentary Commission, I'm happy Honorable Cecilia Ogwal is here. Most times Cecilia Ogwal was our peacemaker. And I want to ask us, if there's any one of us here whom the late wronged, please, let's forgive the late. I want to request as a friend, the late, whenever I had an issue concerning any one of us here, the late could always try to speak to that person. But there are moments when he failed. And I want to thank you, Honorable Cecilia Ogwal. You stood for him at all times. Whenever he could break down, you were there for him. Thank you so much, Atat, for being a great mother and a great friend to the late Right Honorable Jacob Oulanyah. Madam Speaker, as I conclude, what do we learn of his demise? Friends, I have heard all of us today here giving the best messages about the late Jacob Oulanyah. But the question remains, what have we learned from him? We have kept on referring the Norbert Maos, the Ben Watchers, Wandero Gallo. What do you ask of ourselves today in this current generation?
Honorable members, do we have consistency in us? Do we keep our friends? Are we reliable? Do we have integrity in us? I know that's what Peter wanted to mention. Can I have Teso Parliamentary Group? Teso Parliamentary Group, the chairman, who is he? The chairman has gone. Can I have Uganda?
He spoke.
Buganda.
Yes, right, Honorable Speaker.
Right, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you for giving
As
me
it is a
an
few
opportunity
minutes to break the fast.
to represent Buganda Parliamentary Caucus. I'm Geoffrey Kayemba
You
Soro.
can continue.
I'm Geoffrey Kayemba Soro from Bukoma Simbi South. On behalf of Buganda and the people of Buganda, which we represent here, we send our condolences to the family, the Parliament of Uganda, and to the nation at large for losing such a great man. His love and respect for culture is undisputed. For us, on behalf of the Buganda Kingdom Parliamentary Caucus, when you have been demanding ebyaffe, our properties that were taken away by the central government, Honorable Jacob Oulanyah was helping us very much to get our taken properties. So, Right Honorable Speaker, we want to request you to go ahead so that the great Uganda Kingdom can become great and big again by getting back its properties and its portion. I beg to submit. Rest in power, Honorable Jacob Oulanyah.
Sebei Jamonges William. Sebei.
Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues.
Sebei.
Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues, allow me pay my tribute and to condole with you on behalf of the people of Queen.
A stranger in the house.
Sebei.
I bring condolences from the entire Sabei region to you, the Parliament of Uganda, the people from the north.
Julie, you will speak after Jamonges so that you take the baby home.
Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues, receive my condolences from the entire Sabei region to the Parliament of Uganda, the people of the north, the family of the late Right Honorable Speaker, Jacob Oulanyah, the entire community from Sabei are much aware of all the good that have been spoken about the late. In fact, there is no doubt that it is hard to find someone that can match with what the late had. And yes, we cannot continue lamenting because with life, it is only God that gives and it's only God that can take. So for now, we all pray that the soul of the late rests in eternal peace.
Thank you, Juliet.
Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker. I first of all extend my sincere condolences to the family of the late Honorable, to the people of Amol and Uganda at large. Omoro. First of all, the late Right Honorable Speaker was an international icon, and Uganda was so blessed to have him. He was a Pan-Africanist and very patriotic. I had an opportunity of sharing closely with him while we were always at the ACP-EU Assembly. And whenever we had tough motions to be voted on, they consulted Uganda first. Africa consulted Uganda, the Caribbean would consult Uganda, and whenever Uganda was up to something, led by the Right Honorable Jacob Oulanyah, that motion would pass. he would first of all consult the interests of his country and then serve Africa. We have lost a library for Africa and Uganda. The Right Honorable was a very straightforward person. You like it or not, he would tell you the truth and you go with it. He was a man of his word, Right Honorable Speaker. I am very sure that all of us here would take it in whenever he would tell us whatever he meant. And I'm very sure he would fulfill, keep a promise, keep his word, which meant that he was not a politician but a leader. He's someone who
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker.
Who has taken the microphone before you and I? Honorable members, we have been here from 10. It is 7. Can I have the Dean of UPDF? The Dean of UPDF. Charity? Are you UPDF? Charity?
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
Members, sit.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I wish to commiserate with you, the President of the Republic of Uganda, and the people of Uganda over this great loss. As the UPDF, we have lost a great comrade. He stood with us and was counted when we were pursuing peace in the northern Uganda. We shall miss him for that. As a person, I've lost a mentor. One day I stood up to catch the eye of the speaker when we had just come in, and indeed I caught his eye, but the eye told me to sit down and keep quiet because I was going to speak on matters that were not in my line. When I met you with you, Right Honorable Speaker, he gave me a lesson, a very quick and firm lesson on what I should say and shouldn't say as a non-partisan member of Parliament. I'll miss him for that. To the family of the late Right Honorable Jacob Oulanyah, may the good Lord comfort you, and may the soul of Right Honorable Jacob Oulanyah rest in eternal peace. I thank you.
Honorable Minister Harriet. Harriet has been here from 9. Members, so the Muslims first go and break your fast. You'll get me here. Muslims, if you people want, we sit up to 10. You know me, I can do it. Muslims, go and break your fast. Yes.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker. I want to thank the House for allowing me to give my presentation. Right Honorable Speaker, I will, on behalf of the people of Bundibujo, the Renzo region, and the Ministry of Trade where I serve, I want to give my condolences to the family, the House, Parliament where our Right Honorable Speaker was serving, the nation at large, and all Ugandans. Madam Speaker, I happen to be a member of the organizing committee, and I traveled to Omoro. I interacted with the community of Omoro. Madam Speaker, the community loved their leader. Madam Speaker, it was also proved that the Right Honorable Jacob loved his community. Madam Speaker, I have only two issues to present. One of which is you told us and we agreed with you that this parliament is going to father and mother the children of the Right Honorable Jacob. He had a dream, which dream we shall find on the ground when we go. He had put a very huge facility. This huge facility, Right Honorable Speaker, had not yet reached completion. And Right Honorable Speaker, when we looked at the budgeting of completion of this project, it would take us, thank you, 2 billion, Right Honorable Speaker. And when you look at the young family that the Right Honorable Speaker has left behind, if we don't come in as government, the dream of the Right Honorable Jacob Oulanyah will not be realized. I beg you, through this parliament, that you engage the executive and we really take this on as a project of government. Secondly, I want to thank the members of parliament, Right Honorable Speaker. The spirit that we've shown, the smartness that we've really shown today is really incredible. Nobody everybody is thanking. Everybody is so happy. And this is emulated from the smartness that the Right Honorable Jacob was showing the country. As a leader, Right Honorable, there are positions which need smartness. There are positions where you find you cannot just get out and pick any type of cloth and put on. Jacob showed us a picture of a true leader. If you have been there and you are a CEO and you are a minister and you are a member of parliament and you are just putting on whatever you want to put on, please, time to change now. Let's show credibility of what the Right Honorable Speaker has shown us. Thank you so much. May God bless you.
Thank you so much. I'm also happy that you're a member of executive. You can raise that issue when you have cabinet. Ours remains on the education of children. So you can raise that in executive. Some of us don't go there. Can we hear from the chairman of Acholi Parliamentary Group? I call you talked.
Right Honorable Speaker, I don't know where people saw me speaking.
Honorable members, you're supposed to go to Acholi. This is the person who is supposed to receive us. We want to hear from him. Maybe he has a vote of thanks to the members of parliament. You've done a lot to make sure that Jacob is back home, he's lying there. So we want to hear from the owners. Yes.
Right Honorable Speaker, let me take this time to first and foremost thank the Almighty God for giving us the late Right Honorable Jacob Oulanyah L. Okori. Let me also take this time to thank his father, Mzee Nathan Okori, for taking care of him to the level that the country can recognize that there is somebody who was raised from Acholi sub-region that has done a lot for this country. Let us thank Mzee Nathan Okori. Right Honorable Speaker, it has never been a simple period from the time we had the sickness of Right Honorable Jacob Oulanyah. You will remember that many Ugandans killed him even before he was dead. You will wake up in the morning, you see a tweet, you will see people writing on social media, he's dead.
And this is a shame to the country. I remember when he got sick and he came back to the country after treatment, he said, if you hear that somebody is sick, your task should be to pray for the person. And Right Honorable Speaker, this should be a shame to the country. If anybody has been doing that, you must pray to God for forgiveness. Even for those who were marching and talking in this hospital to come back to Uganda, we have forgiven them. But I think they need to pray to the Almighty God to forgive them. This country deserves better people. We deserve unity in the country, irrespective of where you come from. It is very important that we have to respect each other in this country. Right Honorable Speaker, from the beginning of the speakers up to the last, when I was listening very carefully, I have never heard somebody talking about how much money the late Jacob Oulanyah left in this world. What kind of building he left in this world? No. What is the lesson we can take from that? The lesson is you need to have good relationship with people. What we call the community wealth. How do you relate to people in this world? Irrespective of the kind of money you have. Irrespective of how many buildings you have in this world, how do you relate to people? Spiritual wealth. How do you relate to God? You are God. How is God guiding you in this world? And that is key in our life that we have to pick from the late Right Honorable Jacob Oulanyah. He did not concentrate his life on building wealth, but he was building spiritual wealth, he was building community wealth and relationship with people. Right Honorable Speaker, we are getting late. I have a lot to speak, but I think others I will speak with you in tomorrow. But I have to make people read a book I have been quoting. That there is a man called Robin Sharma who wrote a book, Who Will Cry When You Die? And the book will tell you, when you are born, on that day, people will cry, people will laugh while you are crying. The day when you are born, you will cry when people are laughing. The day when you die, that is when people will cry for you when you are laughing. Jacob is laughing at us. He has done his part in this world. But the advantage we have in the culture of the Luo, in the culture of the Africans, when you die, when you're given birth, you are not dead. You are alive. We have hope in the children that are left behind, and we know they will one time shine in the country. The late Right Honorable Jacob, you go with the blessing of this country. Let the Almighty God receive you in heaven. We pray all this in the name of Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Elijah. I'm going to have only two people, Elijah and you.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker.
The session was meant to stop at 6. Yes, there is a motion.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, on behalf of the people I represent of Castillo County, the people of Teso, I want to pass my condolences to the family, especially to the children, and the country and Parliament. Madam Speaker, on the onset, I want to thank you, Madam Speaker. I want to thank you in a special way, and Honorable Peter Gwang. Our brother, Jacob, possibly would have died much earlier, but it is because of what you and Honorable Peter Gwang did. You decided that day to drive to the late's home, to grab with Peter Gwang. You did not even allow your bodyguards to be with you. And you picked him and took him to Mulago. at that time. I want to thank you, Madam Speaker, and Honorable Peter Gwang, for what you have done. Madam Speaker, I've known Jacob for quite time. We met in UPC. We married from the same place. The day I lost my wife, I was with Jacob when I received the bad news in 2002. He was the first person to comfort and counsel me. Forever, I'm grateful for what he did. Little did I know, a few years after that, that would befall him. In Parliament, I remember the debate we had here on the UCB. It's one of the debates where Parliament, where the country got to know who Jacob was, his eloquency, his smartness. Madam, when we served in the commission with Honorable Chris Baryomosi, there were issues. The role I played with Honorable Chris Baryomosi and to make us move forward, we can't forget, and how we're able to move forward. I want to thank the commission at that time. Madam Speaker, Jacob, in whatever he did it to perfection. Whether it's smartness, whether it's the law, whether it is debate, whether it's dancing, whether it's singing, whether it's football, whether it's boxing, he did it to perfection. And how I wish we would learn to do that. It reminded me what the son told us the other day at the vigil, that he told them that, my children, focus your eye on the ball, on what you want to be, and you'll become. At that time when we were here in the 7th Parliament, I and him and Honorable Odongoto were in his house when he had bought that place, the construction was going on. He took us to the balcony. It was not complete. Say, I'm praying that at one time I will be addressing the people of Acholi, the Bola dancers, down there as I'm the Chief Justice of this country. That was his ambition at that time. Maybe if he had lived, he would even become the Chief Justice. He was focused on always what he wanted to be. When it comes to humor, you can't beat Jacob. You all know in this parliament here. The recent one was when we had the issue with Semuju and Honorable Jim Wesi. You all know how we handled it. The other one, which I will not go in detail, is when you had a debate here on Miss Kavi. The comment he made, that was Jacob. He said, this is what a debater should be. That's what parliament should be. It's what makes parliament. I want to thank Honorable Ruth Nankabira, when at the heat of the debate, of the campaign, of the council and the ideas we shared to try to bring the two sides together. I want to thank you. And I want to thank Jacob that when he won, he called me to his office and said, Elijah, you worked hard for your candidate. But I know you, we have known each other for a very long time. I want us to work together. I said, I have no problem with that. We have known each other for a very long time. He said, let us move forward. Can you help out me to reach out to people? And that was Jacob. That's why even those who were here in the 7th Parliament, when he had boxing with Eli Tumwine by the lobby side, when he boxed him and we had to come in to separate. But after 1 week, it was a reconciliation. And since that time, we moved together. That was Jacob. If he annoyed you, if he disappointed you, he would reach out to you. And that's what we must learn and work together as one, irrespective of the parties, irrespective of where we come from. So, Madam Speaker, I want to thank him. We have lost his colleagues from the Speaker of Commonwealth Dominica has made a call yesterday, former Speaker of Dominica, the Right Honorable Alex Boyd, the Secretary General of CPA, the Secretary General of the ACP EU, they have all been making calls. The Speaker of Tanzania has made a call. He sends his condolences to you, Madam Speaker. Those in the Parliamentarians for Global Action, where I and Jacob Oulanyah and Honorable Katuntu participated in a number of conferences from Colombia, they are sending their condolence messages.
Media, don't go, you're going to speak.
Madam Speaker.
Media, don't go, you're going to speak.
With the humility, I want to say, Right Honorable Speaker, Like we used to call each other, those who come from Teso know what it means. He used to was fond of the word called akwe, those who come from Teso. That's how we used to refer to each other. So, Right Honorable Speaker, dear colleague, Jacob, we were married to one region. We have lost all of you. One day, as planned by God, we shall join you. May your soul rest in eternal peace.
Thank you, Honorable Elijah. Members, can we have one amendment to the motion? Then all of you speak. And we make this part of the vigil. The amendment I want is from Honorable Chairperson of Karamoja. Let's first have that amendment.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, this afternoon, I propose an amendment under our rules of procedure, Rule 59 and Rule 61, that this Parliament, in recognition of the life and the different dimensions that we have mentioned here, the life of the Honorable Jacob Oulanyah, that a day under our prayers be established that will be called the Jacob Oulanyah Memorial Lecture or Day, where this Parliament, on an annual basis, can spend time to think through, to discuss their values, all the different aspects, whether it was sports, whether it was rules, whether it was honesty, leadership, that we can bring to discuss on an annual basis. And Madam Speaker, I also refer to the fact that this is not new. It has happened, for example, in the Bank of Uganda, and we call the Joseph Mubirule Memorial Lecture. It has happened under the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions, where we have an annual event to remember the prosecutor who was killed in cold blood, Joan Kagezi. And in this context, this is a first that a sitting Speaker of Parliament has died. This is historical. And at the same time, we remember that this Parliament is totally united. I think the God that has inspired this Parliament, all sides of the House, to be here, to dress up, and be here from morning. That's the kind of unity we want to celebrate on an annual basis. And Madam Speaker, we want that day also to recognize the achievements of past speakers since independence. There are different dimensions that we can remember. Also the achievements of the speakers that will come after, that have come after the Jacob Oulanyah. And for any individual member of Parliament that this House considers worth celebrating its achievements. Madam Speaker, I move that the prayers therein under the motion proposed by the Vice President be amended to include a prayer that the Jacob Oulanyah Memorial Lecture Day be adopted and be celebrated on an annual basis to recognize the achievements of the speakers, Speaker Jacob Oulanyah and other speakers and individual members of this House in the cause of delivering service to this country. I beg to submit, Madam Speaker. Thank you.
And the memorial lecture should always be on 23rd of March. That is a birthday for Jacob Oulanyah.
Much obliged, Madam Speaker.
Is it seconded? By the whole House. It is seconded by Honorable Bua, Honorable Biga, Honorable Dr. Ruth Achen, Stephen, Veronica, Abe, Queer, Silo, by the whole House. We are amending the prayers of Her Excellency to include that we will be celebrating Jacob Oulanyah Memorial Lecture annually on 23rd March of every year. The amendment has been made. Now let's start the debate afresh. Yes, an amendment? Yeah.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I also rise under Rule 59 and 61 to amend the motion by the Vice President. In the amendment, I'd also want us to include that in recognition of the distinguished service to humanity and Right Honorable Jacob's exceptional mastery of the law, this House implores one of our local universities to confer upon the Right Honorable Jacob Oulanyah a posthumous honorary doctorate in laws, because you'll notice that the only honorary doctorate that has been conferred upon him is by an American institution, and yet much of his works have been within the laws and the legal systems of this country. I believe that we will have crowned him and given him the respect that he deserves. I beg to amend.
I am not sure whether we have the powers to cause a university to award. We don't have those powers legally.
Right Honorable Speaker, I have read through the guidelines that Makerere provides to award these honorary doctorates posthumously, and it only requires a member or the community of the university to write to the Vice Chancellor. Here with us, we have alumnus or alumni of this university and members of the University Council who are also part of this House. So I believe that...
You can do that as an alumni, not the House doing it. Do that as an alumni. Yes.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, just for clarity, the amendment that has been moved by a backbench member does not have a charge on the consolidated fund. I know that the person we are celebrating today is one person who has been following our rules of procedure and constitution critically. So that the motion that is being amended was moved by Her Excellency the Vice President. And how I wish that the Vice President, the move of the motion to pay tribute, would stand up and agree to the motion, just in case the motion will draw some charge on the consolidated fund, to be on the safe side. If she stood and accepted the amendment to her motion, it would put us in a good position. It is her motion that is being amended. I would like to hear from her whether she accepts, and then the future will be very clear on how to handle such a day that has been proposed. Otherwise, I support the motion myself.
In my own thinking, what I think Honorable Chair is talking about is why you just come and debate, look at the achievement, the challenges, what Oulanyah's contributions, and also the previous speakers. Anyway, Vice President.
Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues, first of all, to appreciate the whole House for the unity which you have demonstrated in speaking in support of the motion to give honor to our brother, the Right Honorable Jacob Oulanyah. Right Honorable, there are three
proposed amendments, of which you have already ruled on one of them in concurrence with members of parliament. That is on the motion, which the amendment moved by the Honorable Cecilia Ogwal on equipping the Uganda Cancer Institute with the PET machine. And I want to thank the Minister of Health for clarifying to the whole House that arrangements are already in place to operationalize that machine. And Madam Speaker, maybe I also would like to supplement the Minister for the benefit of the whole House with the information from the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Health, which even has figures, since we do appropriate in this House, and also members of cabinet in cabinet, we can have those figures in our minds to operationalize the cyclotron and the PET machine, which the Honorable Cecilia Ogwal was talking about. We need 250 billion Uganda shillings, and so far 90 billion has been received by the ministry, and the additional funding is being provided for annually. That is the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Health. So the minister here said that receiving the machine which the Honorable Cecilia Ogwal was talking about alone, without the cyclotron in it, can't work. So the earlier we secure the cyclotron, the better. But currently, the contract is due for signing for this machine which the Honorable Cecilia Ogwal was raising, the PET. And according to the PS, the bunker was completed 2 years ago. That means the bunker to house it was completed 2 years ago. So what you said, Madam Speaker, that we need comprehensive information on the progress that government has made in establishing or equipping the Uganda Cancer Institute may not be sufficiently provided here and now. We need maybe a conversation of the technical people from the Uganda Cancer Institute and also the ministry to have engagement with Parliament, maybe through the Committee of Health or even directly on the floor of Parliament through a statement by the minister. That one you ruled, and I would like to support that because of the so many procedures which are already in place, we may not necessarily need to include this in the motion as you ruled earlier. But the second one by the Honorable Remigio Achi, just to have a day annually where we can remember our brother, the Right Honorable Jacob Oulanyah, is agreeable to me, Madam Speaker. It is a very important day where we can still come together and look at his tracts. And in his tracts, we shall be reading peace in the tracts. We shall be reading unity in his tracts. We shall be reading smartness and neatness in his tracts and continue emulating the tracts. So I agree and support to the amendment moved by the Honorable Achia, absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Then the third one by Honorable Okot Boniface, Right Honorable Speaker, if with the little institutional memory that I have from the Ministry of Education and Sports, I know that the universities and other tertiary institutions is an act of parliament which we passed here that guides the universities, both private and public. So I do not imagine that we may have power to direct or even to send a request to any university to award a posthumous PhD for our brother. Much as I do believe that he deserves it because he was a very intelligent lawyer, and maybe that one we need to study further. But I in my little understanding of how universities operate, they use their own procedures, and they do make decisions through the university councils. So it is an issue which may carry on a discussion on, but I'm not certain whether we shall succeed if we fix it in the motion. Thank you very much, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Vice President. I'd already made a ruling even on court's request.
Further motion.
Honorable court's request. And I want to thank you so much for accepting the amendment of Honorable Remigio. Yes, Wilson.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I had, and I still do support the motion I raised to, under Rule 58 and 61, to move another motion, amendment to the motion, adding another prayer that I think is within our means and is right here with us and does not have a charge on the consolidated fund, and that's very relevant to the attributes of the fallen giant before us. We have a room, Right Honorable Speaker, on the right of this, as you enter the August House. The room is named VIP. I have seen you, Right Honorable Speaker, I have seen the foreign giant, the Right Honorable Jacob Oulanyah, enter that room and prepare to come and share this August House. Every time the Speaker of Parliament is emerging from that room, you know dignity and honor is coming to the house. I beg to move that we rename that VIP room the Right Honorable Jacob Oulanyah VIP room for preparation.
We shall rename in the new building for now. In the new building, new chambers.
That does not materially
and we
change
don't need to include it in the motion. We don't need to amend the motion. That is operational.
Thank you.
I can even wake up today and just go and name my office, Jacob Oulanyah's. Give the name to the office. That is operational.
Having been given a chance, Right Honorable Speaker, let me, on behalf of the people of Nyabushozi, convey absolutely in order. Thank you. Convey my condolences to you, Right Honorable Speaker, to the people of Omoro, to the President of the Republic of Uganda, and to you, all my colleagues, and to the family. The Right Honorable foreign giant in front of us was a timekeeper, was a master of the rules. He dressed and spoke with fastidious care. There's a lot we can learn from him. If we are going to do good, is to preserve his legacy. I wanted us to do the following, Right Honorable Speaker. One, we finish those that he had started and left unfinished. We emulate his traits. We do timekeeping. We speak, we legislate following the Uganda that we want. We do research, we honor him. That, if we do, we shall have honored him greatly, Right Honorable Speaker. With those, I wish him to rest in eternal peace for God and my country.
Thank you so much, Wilson. Isingiro. Members, I hope we are going to put a question. I hope you'll be there for us to have the number. So if you're speaking, you should remain and we'll put a question, but mindful of the Vice President, She has been here from 8 up to now. Yes, Singiro, Shema.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. My name is Claire Mugumya, Woman Member of Parliament Singiro. Thank you very much for the opportunity to say a word on this day when we eulogize the demise of our Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, I came to know Right Honorable Jacob Oulanyah when he had come to Isingiro to preside over a function where Honorable Minister Bright Rwamirama was launching his campaign for the general election. As a flag bearer, I was given a chance to say a word, and when I said the word, I told Right Honorable Oulanyah that I had been following up his performance in Parliament, and as a Deputy Speaker, I told him that he's capable of becoming a full Speaker of Parliament. He was very happy that time, but at the same time I asked him that if I ever made it to Parliament, I will support him to become a Speaker of Parliament. I am so happy that I did it, and it came to pass. He became a Speaker of Parliament, but I'm sad at the same time that I was not able to enjoy his presiding over the Parliament for a long time. When, after my election to Parliament, I came to his office, and he told me, he shared with me about his candidature for the Speaker of Parliament, and he shared with me about 5 areas that he was going to focus on as a Speaker of Parliament. He told me about independence of Parliament. He said he wanted to preside over a Parliament that it will be free to conduct its business without accepting a lot of external influence. He told me about equality, how he was going to preside over.
Right Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Madam Speaker and colleagues. On behalf of the people of Shema, I want to add my voice to extend condolences to the family of the late Jacob Oulanyah. I got to know the late in 2016 for the first time when I was in this house as a technical officer behind there. We had come to defend tax policy proposals. I remember during that sitting, it was very hostile. The members could not comprehend and accept the proposals. When we left the next day, the late invited us to his chambers, and we sat there and took him through the proposals one by one. It's at that point that I realized that this powerful man was very humble, had humility, and was ready to learn. And after accepting, we came back to the house that afternoon, and all the measures were adopted. I realized that we had a nationalist, and from that time, I connected with the late. He was one of the first people that called me when I had been elected the chairman of the World Customs Organization in Brussels to congratulate me. And later on, when I was going to resign to come to Parliament, he's one of the first people I told, and he encouraged me. The country has lost a great man. We mourn, but there are very many things he has done that we should live with as examples. And we can only live his legacy by making sure that we do.
Right Honorable
Thank
Speaker.
you.
You had given me opportunity as Mohaye Miriam, the woman member of Parliament from Mbale District.
Mariam.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker.
But you wait for the question, you don't go after speaking.
Thank you once more for giving me the opportunity to pay tribute on behalf of the people of Mbale District, on behalf of the people of Bugisu Sub-Region, who are the in-laws to the late
Right Honorable Speaker Jacob Oulanyah, and also on behalf of the Church of Uganda, where the Right Honorable Speaker was committed as a Christian. I want to bring tribute and appreciate him for standing with the Church of Uganda. This was in a recent meeting that we had with him when we went to visit the Archbishop of the Church of Uganda. The church has a big debt to pay off, and the Right Honorable Speaker contributed 100 million in support of the church activity. And on behalf of the church, as a member, I want to appreciate him for the commitment that he has always had, for the love of the work of God, and this has helped the church to pay off the church house. But there is something that he pledged to do while we're in that meeting. He pledged to stand with the church to ensure that the institutions of the church are not left out to rot, especially the schools that have helped so many of us to be where we are. Some of those schools are now not so good, and many of us are taking our children in private schools. He had pledged to ensure that those schools are renovated, and we ensure that they are back on board to help our children to study in a better way.
Thank you. Then Silo, Kato. Honorable members, the mover of the motion wants to leave at, she requests to leave at 8. She has been here from 8 in the morning. You cannot continue with the motion when the mover is not there. The whole day that you're having will be wasted if you don't adapt this motion. Yes?
Thank you, Madam
Tinka.
Speaker.
Tinka, come and sit near here.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I'll join my fellow colleagues in condoling with the entire House, you, Madam Speaker, and the family, and on behalf of the people of Kalangala District and the entire Orthodox Church in Uganda, we mourn with all of you. Madam Speaker, a lot has been said about the late Right Honorable Speaker Jacob Oulanyah. I would also want to add something small. In the 256 quotes of the late Jacob Oulanyah, a colleague said it, but I'll say it as well. Without attitude change, the fight against corruption is just a show-off. Madam Speaker, this financial year, the financial year 2022-2023, we have 80 billion to spend on mindset change and sensitization. Madam Speaker, I wonder why we would spend money on patriotism. How do you teach a Ugandan to love Uganda? Madam Speaker, also, I believe the things that the Right Honorable Speaker has been clamoring for are the things we should carry on and the things we should do. If we don't, like he said in that quote, Madam Speaker, his urology is going to be a show-off as well. I beg to submit. May your soul rest in eternal peace.
Thank you, Silas. Yes? Motion.
Motion.
Right Honorable Speaker, I've been around since morning. Yes, I was seated there.
Honorable members.
Please, I just
Order.
stepped out to give room for other people to come and occupy the space. I received the
Order.
body. And we've been
Move the
listening to
motion.
speeches after speeches since the departure of our own. And everyone wants to speak. And the family has been around since morning. Sincerely, I would like to really move that the question be put and debate ends there. Yes. I beg to move.
Is it seconded?
Madam
It is
Speaker,
seconded.
Madam Speaker, I rise to second the motion that the question. Madam Speaker.
Madam Speaker, you gave me an opportunity.
No, there is a motion on the floor. There is a motion. Just hold on. There is a motion. There is a motion. And I know you're a lover. I know you're a lover of rules. So Silo is a very good lover of rules. So firstly, listen to the secondment.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker. My name is Okot John Amos, a Member of Parliament for Agago North County. Madam Speaker, I rise to second the motion that the question be put. Having been here since morning at 8 a.m. until now, I've been listening through all the tributes members have been putting across the Right Honorable Jacob Oulanyah, who is here. Madam Speaker, I stand to say all the condolences and all the resolutions that came on the floor, having received the motion from our Vice President, Our Excellency, the Vice President, and seconded by the Leader of Government Business, the Prime Minister, and the Leader of Opposition, I second the motion that the question be put. I beg to move.
Thank you. Chris?
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. I know our brother, we loved him, all of us, and we would want to speak about him. Earlier, Right Honorable Speaker, the honorable members made a request that your office grants what the Honorable Jacob had wanted us to do, to have a debate on the Uganda we want. We could, when we hold that debate, also eulogize him as we make submissions. And therefore, I stand to support the motion that to respect the family, that whenever the children go and have something also, we put a question, and then we shall proceed with the vigil. But when we hold that debate of the Uganda we want, we shall integrate some of these eulogies in our submissions.
In the vigil that we are going to have, we should have an option of where people can get up and speak about their encounter with the former speaker. This night we have a whole night. We should be able to speak about the speaker in the vigil. Honorable members, in a situation like this, I am reminded by the famous words of Raphael Wako in the course, to love often and love much. That is what Jacob did. To win and respect intelligent people and affection of children. We heard about how much Jacob loved the children, how much Jacob loved everybody, how much affection he had to the people. To earn a probation of honest critics and ensure the betrayal of friends and appreciate the beauty. That is the true example of Jacob. To find the best in others. If Jacob ever realized that you're very good or you're better than him, he will make sure that you become one of his friends. Whether by health a child and then to have played, laughed with so many people. Jacob was good at that. The Jacob that is lying there was a very good friend to all of us, a very good brother. He used to call me his twin sister, and I promise I will still remain a twin sister, especially to the family. Jacob lived a life well lived, a corrupt-free man. That is the Jacob. He always laughed, and whenever I would laugh, you would see his dimples. Whenever Jacob played, Jacob lived, Jacob loved. He's a father, he's a brother, he's a friend to everybody. May Jacob's soul rest in perfect peace. And we will dearly miss Jacob. We loved him. I have walked the way, the journey with Jacob for the 9 months. I would be in this office here. After chairing the house, we go back and cry in the office. Jacob would say, I am in pain. I just thank God that it gave me the strength to chair today's session. And I thank my deputy for stepping in. I now put a question that this House pays a glowing tribute to the departed Speaker of Parliament of Uganda, Right Honorable Lokori Oulanyah, for his distinguished service to this nation with the amendments that was made by Honorable Achia Remegio. Those in favor say unto the contrary, nay. The ayes have it. I now direct the clerk to transmit a copy of the resolution together with extract of the Hansard on this motion to the bereaved family. I wish to welcome all of you to tomorrow's function, to tonight's vigil, and then to the final resting place of our own Jacob. May his soul rest in eternal peace. I adjourn
the anthems. Honorable members, please remain standing as the casket leaves the chamber. Members, please take your seats.
Honorable member, thank you for being in the house today, for paying your tribute. We adjourn the house to Tuesday 12th.